guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Nastasia, and today is a super casual video where I'm eating my protein bar and we are chilling out because I'm kind of in a rush, but I want to get this video out for you guys. So today, I will be talking with my mouth full, and I'm sorry about it. We are talking about guarding your heart and what that means as a woman to do that, because I know it can be kind of confusing. And it's taken me a long time to even try to understand that concept. And I'm still not even fully understanding it. I'm just wanting to share what I do know so far. I'm going to be doing a Q&A on my channel next week. And I need questions. So I have had some people ask me questions and request a Q&A. And so if you've asked questions in the previous videos and I liked your comment, I will be answering them. I've just put them aside for this video. I also have it on my Instagram page. You can go to this username right here, and I have that question up there that you can answer, but if you want to just do it here, you can comment down below your question, and if I like it, I will put it in the video. Please ask me your questions. I would love to answer them. Anything you have about me, or about the gospel, or anything. Juicy questions, not juicy questions, I don't really care, so just let me know. But if you end up liking this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video every time I post, every time I'm eating, every time I'm talking with my mouth full. The Bible talks about in several places guarding your heart. One of those verses I can remember at the top of my head is in Song of Solomon, where they say, daughters do not awaken love until it so desires, and stuff like that. And that is all kind of telling you to guard your heart and protect your heart and how God made you. So when we say guard your heart, it doesn't mean don't open up to people, but it means always keep your priorities in line, and always keep in mind that something might not work out, and will you be okay? So today we're talking mostly about just romantic relationships, and not necessarily I don't know, other things, but just specifically honing in on romantic relationships and how to guard your heart in those. So I also talked to my friend Hannah. She's great, Hannah Denton. You gotta look her up on YouTube. She's the best. I'll have her channel linked below. But her and I were both talking about this yesterday and kind of what it looks like, and she gave some of her advice as well to what she thinks guarding your heart looks like. And I think a lot of what it is first setting yourself up for success with what you want in a future husband, and making physically writing down those traits, writing down the non-negotiables, writing down exactly what's necessary for that, and keeping it somewhere close so that anytime you are dating somebody, you can refer to it and be set on what those things are. I'm not talking hair color and all that. I'm just talking the basics that have to be for a good marriage. So for me, they have to love the Lord. They have to love the Lord and be a spiritual leader. And they also have to, there are other things like personality traits and stuff like that, and be kind and be different things. But I think the second part of that is you have to be strong in what you want. You can't waver with things like that. I know there's some debate over whether Christians should date non-Christians or not. In my opinion, I would never ever advise you to do that, not because they aren't, you can't, not because you can't find a kind person that isn't a Christian or anything like that, but it is not a good idea for anybody in a religion, I don't think, to date somebody that isn't part of that religion personally, because that is a huge part of your life. That encompasses so much of your moral ground, your moral compass, and how you see the world and how you see people. And if you guys aren't on that same page, then it's not gonna work. There's gonna be clashing. Nothing else, a relationship won't work, much less a marriage. And so that is something that I believe to guard your heart is to, if you love Jesus, guarding your heart is not giving your heart away to a man that doesn't have that same connection to Jesus. I don't want that to sound harsh, but that is a good way to guard your heart, because somebody who doesn't have a relationship with Jesus at all isn't going to understand the things that you understand. And it's the same way that if somebody was, I don't know, Buddhist or something, like, I'm a Christian, I'm not Buddhist, so, like, obviously I would not believe the same things they believe, and it wouldn't work out. Like, they probably wouldn't go for me, like, or, like, Islam or something, they wouldn't, you know, it just doesn't fit together well. It's just something that will always clash. So I think that is the first thing, is to guard your heart. You need to only be considering people who are in the same playing field as you spiritually. Like, what a weird video this is. To understand how attached you get to people and how quickly you attach to them. For someone like me, I can attach to people so quick. Like, I am able to, like, make instant connections with people and be like, okay, you're my new best friend. I don't really give myself enough time to be smart about it, I guess. It's kind of in my nature. But it's also something I can work on. Let's say you're going on dates with this guy and he's really great and he loves the Lord and he's kind and all the things you could want. Yes, you should still guard your heart, because you never know what's going to happen. And you don't know if, like, God has something else in mind for you guys and your lives to, like, fulfill his will and, you know, for the kingdom and all that, that maybe you guys wouldn't work well together. Like, you don't know. And so with that, like, somebody could be amazing and you should still guard your heart. And what I think is that, like, you are not married until you're married. So even in whether you're just friends and then you're dating and then you're in a relationship and then you're engaged and all that, yes, that person is important to you, and yes, they should kind of move up in your priorities as you move along that line, but they are not your husband until they're your husband. So you cannot safely give your heart to somebody until, like, they're your husband. Again, that's not me saying block off yourself or don't expose your feelings or anything like that. Like, I believe there is power in being vulnerable and, you know, being soft and kind and loving. But you don't give them your whole heart until you have a ring on your finger, like 2 rings, like the engagement and the wedding band. Like, you do not do that until you get married. And here's why I say that. Because anything can happen, guys. I have mentioned this before, but I was engaged once and it didn't work out. Like, anything can happen at any stage. And I don't want you guys to get so crushed, because I've been in relationships where I've thought, like, I'm gonna marry this person, and, like, I already kind of give them the part of my heart that, like, should only go to my husband, and then I get crushed when it doesn't work out, because I think, like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to marry them, like, you know, and all this stuff. And so just be careful that you hold some of yourself back until you're married. That doesn't mean you have to be mysterious or closed off or anything, but, like, they're not your husband until they're your husband. And along with that, I would say, like, for somebody like me, I'm a hopeless romantic. I love people to death, and I love, and, like, marriage is a dream of mine. And with that being said, I have a tendency to daydream and think of all the things, and we would have the most beautiful children and all this stuff that, like, is like, whoa, that's way far along. I tend to do that. And I know some of my friends are the same way, that they're like, okay, I'm gonna marry you, I met you today, but I'm gonna marry you, and stuff. And I would advise you to try to pull in those thoughts a little bit and rein them in, because it can be dangerous for you to imagine this whole life that might not happen, because then you set yourself up for your heart being let down. Try to live in the moment and try to be content with where you're at, instead of thinking, like, oh my gosh, yay, we went on a date, I can't wait for us to be in a relationship, I can't wait for us to be official. Just be thankful, just be like, you know what, I had a great time on that date. Maybe I'll hear from him again, I hope I do, or we'll see where this goes, like, and pray over it and stuff like that. But do not let yourself go to that place if you can help it. There's nothing inherently wrong about, like, imagining these fun things and beautiful things, but it can lead to a lot of disappointment and a lot of hurt. And on top of that, let's say you guys do end up getting married and all the things and blah, 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 but it's not exactly how you imagined, and you imagined this crazy, like, romantic fairy tale that doesn't really happen because we live in a sinful, fallen world, and then you guys do get married, but it's not what you pictured, and it's not this, and it's not where you thought it would be, then you're going to be disappointed anyway. Like, that's really hard. Now, I'm not saying don't have standards. Have standards for who that man is and how he, loves the Lord and all that. But do not have expectations on how your life together will look, if that makes sense. You have to give that to God. So yes, look for the certain qualities in that man that you have written down previously, your non-negotiables, everything you need. But when it comes to picturing the future and picturing all this stuff and blah, 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 try to let that go, because you will only be disappointed even if it all happens, but not the way you pictured it. I think that is another way of guarding your heart. I think a lot of times we just imagine, like, if you don't guard your heart, then when they break up with you, it'll crush you, which is true, but it's also like, even if you end up with them, it'll still crush you because you set your heart up for all these things that no one ever said were going to happen. You just kind of assumed it would happen without communicating that. And another way to guard your heart is, honestly, this is the simplest one, but you should be doing this no matter what, is sticking in your word, like staying in your word and being constant in it every single day. Chase after God more than you chase after a man, which is easier said than done. I know I'm just a girl on a YouTube video saying, like, yeah, chase after God more, and you're like, yeah, okay, but like, how? I get it, because I really, really like boys. Like, I really like guys, and I love, and it's a little different because you don't see God in, like, that romantic sense and stuff, and I understand, like, it's just a complicated subject overall, but point being, while you are working on whatever relationship it is, whether you're friends with somebody you like, or dating, or in a relationship, or engaged, or whatever, still keep chasing God more, because no matter what could ever happen, if he is your rock, yeah, you'll be devastated if something happens, but you'll be okay. You will survive. You'll be good. But if you don't chase him more and you chase that guy more, then he becomes kind of your God. And, like, then when it all disappears, you don't know who you are. You don't know what your identity is. You don't have that rock. And you're, like, crawling back to God. And so, like, always be chasing God more. And, just lifting everything up in prayer. And, like, I think the hardest thing is for people to understand, like, but how do I guard my heart? Like, I want to do that. What does that even mean, though? Like, it is a complicated, like, topic. And I could sit here and say all these different kind of, like, suggestions and stuff, but I still don't fully 100% understand it. The best thing you can do is ask God to make it make sense to you and just to help you guard your heart, because there are certain things that we can't communicate as humans, that only God knows, and that's for a reason, because he wants you to go to him for him to explain it to you. The last thing I'm going to say about guarding your heart is to have accountability, whether that's your friends or your family or whatever it is, maybe a mentor or pastor or something. Keep them in the loop of what's happening with, like, that guy, or if you don't have a guy yet and you're in the process of, like, making your list of non-negotiables and, like, the boundaries you want to set, like emotional boundaries and stuff like that, then keep certain people you trust, like really trust, in the loop so that they can hold you accountable when that time comes. And also, don't be resistant when they keep you accountable. Don't take offense to it when they're like, hey, what about this thing? Like, make sure you take that lovingly as they are looking out for me. They are protecting my heart. And also that during the entire process, even if, you finally meet the one that you do want to marry and they seem great and they're meeting your non-negotiables and everything's good, that you're still, like, paying attention to your friends, that you are still hanging out with your friends, that you are making time for other people, not because you don't want to spend time with that guy, but because honestly getting away and doing different things with different people guards your heart as well. The more time you spend with somebody, the more attached you're going to be. And that's not a bad thing. Like, that's awesome. I want to marry somebody who I want to be with all the time and who wants to be with me all the time. But when it is before your wedding day and anything could happen, you still need to have those boundaries. And even in marriage, obviously, you still need to have those boundaries of hanging out with people just to keep your own sanity. But, you know, before that, guarding your heart by spending time with other people so that you can remember, even if crap hits the fan, I have these people, I have my family, I have my friends, I have, you know, whoever it is, and I'm spending time with them, and, you know, giving your heart, like, still having that piece of your heart include them as well. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thanks for putting up with me eating my protein bar, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Always leave your comments down below, and yeah, let me know what videos you want me to film next, because I'm kind of like making lists of different video ideas, and like I genuinely will do them, so let me know. And I love you guys so much. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!